June 6, 1944, before dawn, before the world knew what was coming. Over 150,000 men were already crossing the English Channel, the largest amphibious invasion in human history. Years in the planning, and gambled entirely on a single stretch of weather. Hours before the first boot touched sand. Paratroopers of the 82nd and 101st. Airborne fell out of the night. Sky over Normandy, scattered by flak and darkness. Many landed miles from their targets, alone, in enemy hedgerows, with no idea who was near them. Some drowned in flooded marshes the Germans had deliberately created. Others regrouped in twos and threes. Strangers an hour earlier, now fighting side by side. Yet, by sheer improvisation, they seized bridges, cut communication lines, and threw the German response into chaos before the sun even rose. Offshore! Nearly 7,000 vessels stretched to the horizon, battleships, destroyers, landing craft, all converging on 5 beaches codenamed Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. Naval guns opened fire at dawn, shaking the coastline, softening German defenses before the first wave ever left their ships. For the men below deck, waiting was its own kind of battle, seasick, silent, watching the coast grow closer. Nowhere was it worse than Omaha. Steep bluffs, interlocking machine gun fire. Landing craft ramps dropped straight into a killing field. Men waded through chest-deep water under fire. Before, they'd taken a single step on land. Entire boat teams were cut down before reaching the sand. Casualties piled up in the surf. And still, wave after wave, they kept coming. To the west, Utah Beach saw lighter resistance, troops pushing inland within hours. At Gold and Sword, British forces fought through fortified villages. House by house, hedge by hedge. At Juno, Canadian troops absorbed brutal casualties in the first minutes, then broke through faster than almost anywhere else on the coast. Each beach, its own battle, its own cost. Its own version of the same impossible morning. By mid-morning, small groups of men at Omaha began doing what seemed impossible, climbing the bluffs under fire, one rifleman at a time, opening gaps the rest could follow. Officers were killed. There was no single hero, just thousands of individual decisions to keep moving forward. Inland, the airborne troops who'd landed hours earlier were still fighting isolated, low on ammunition, holding crossroads and bridges that the beach landings depended on. Without their chaos in the dark, the bluffs might never have been climbed at all. By nightfall, the beaches were secured. Not easily, not cheaply. Over 4,000 Allied troops were dead, with thousands more wounded or missing. Behind them, engineers were already working, clearing obstacles, building makeshift piers, preparing for the flood of men and machines still to come. D-Day didn't end the war, but it opened the door. 11 months later, that door led to Berlin,